them. Yeah, so here's something that I don't know if it was always like this. I'd be super curious in grilling the editorial
Super
people at the New York Times
curious.
and Washington Post. I don't think it's acceptable. Oh,
Super
actually,
curious.
show me a headline. Here's what I recall seeing. If I recall seeing this is pretty
super
bad.
curious.
Headline: Hospital, like witnesses say hospital bombed, 500 dead, and then buried in the story, reported by officials in Gaza. That headline on an American publication implies that there's been some third-party verification there. I thought I saw this on the New York Times. The fact that they would publish that headline without sticking the Hamas or the Gaza reported, yeah, I think Reuters might have even done a similar thing. That is not good. I feel like, again, and I understand this is hard, but people are so desperate to either be anti-Hamas terror attacks, which you should be, or anti-IDF killing civilians or oppression of Palestinians, you should be. They're like rushing to try to prove their virtue by showing the other side. Like, I've said this before and I'll say it again. There's nothing, you don't lose anything by waiting a while. Like, you can just wait to report on what happened. Well, I guess, actually, I'm sorry, that was retarded. If you're a streamer, you can wait. I guess if you're a news org, you kind of live or die based on your reporting, but like,
Out of range. Guess I should have took that zip line.
I think the British politicians earlier said it best. The media is trying to meet social media minute by minute on breaking news, where instead they should admit they never will be able to focus on accuracy over speed. Yeah, that's like the thing. Or you can try to do it, but then you've got to look like me. You've got to cuck yourself out like me. You've got to be like, well, it's possible that this was important, and you have to qualify the fuck out of everything. But you got to be super careful with those headlines. Like, you're gonna blackpill everybody on media so fucking hard, right? Whether it was the 40 decapitated babies was a bad look, especially for Biden to say that, because I don't think Biden had seen any videos or pictures of decapitated babies at that point. And now this like IDF bombs hospital, as reported by Hamas. This Caroline chick is unhinged. I heard that she just like basically repeats everything that apparently she just repeats everything Hassan says uncritically to like all the other LSF streamers. I was following the Reuters and AP feeds pretty closely. They seem to do a good job of reiterating that the health ministry is controlled by Hamas and that claims couldn't be independently verified, but not in the headlines. Yeah, I feel like that needs to be in the headlines. That's because I understand what you learn like in journalism school is probably different than like the real world. Or hold on, let me qualify that. I remember when I was in high school, they said make an interesting headline. The headline should just be a attention grabber. Then you put the meat in the story. Today, people only read headlines. So I mean, I feel like. Yeah, I feel like you have to plan your headlines around people only reading those, which sucks, but. You should read the geoconfirmed thread on the missile. I did read that. I read through a couple threads on people looking at it. It looks like, it really does look like a Hamas rocket malfunctioned, I think. They said the motor malfunctioned or something, and then the missile, the rocket blew up in a, and then it looks like it blew up once or twice in a parking lot in a hospital. The 500 dead figure sounds insane. Personally, I'll make a prediction here. I'll be a little brave. I would be surprised if it was like 15 or 20 dead, unless this parking lot was like packed full of people. I don't know how you could ever kill more than 50 people in that parking lot. Like, I don't know if anybody died, to be honest. It wouldn't surprise me if a few people died, but yeah. Destiny, does it not look like it was intercepted? Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the way that the Iron Dome interceptions work is when the Iron Dome missile is close enough to the rocket, the missile will explode, and that'll detonate all of the explosive ordnance on the incoming rocket, I believe. So if the Iron Dome interception is successful, it shouldn't cause the rocket
to
blow up once it hits the ground. Don't believe so.
Glitchy as fuck.
Also, yeah, I don't know if you can I don't know if you can manually intercept, or if you can intercept, or if you can dynamically intercept rockets like out on the battlefield, because the Iron Dome shouldn't be covering rockets into Gaza like that, right?
But you know what? When I bombed the...
Man, I'm so scared about stuff like this, dude.
But you know what? When I bomb the funeral, it's not gonna be like a big it's gonna be like a nail bomb. So they all go to the hospital.
Oh.
Is he running away from me?
But you know what? When I bomb the funeral, it's not gonna be like a big it's gonna be like a nail bomb. So they all go to the hospital, and then you know what? I'm gonna blow the hospital up. But
That's
you know
what I'm gonna do to you, Mr. Mitten.
But you know what? When I...
Okay, good one.
Gold. Get them treasures.
I did some Googling last night on my monitor. Shuts off and on sometimes with this laptop, and apparently you need to get the motherboard made, which is annoying if true, but okay. Sorry, it just did that again. I was just thinking that. Damn, what do we want to watch right now? It feels weird, like, just going live and being a hater, but I think, like, the biggest thing that I'm worried about is I'm worried that there's going to be no accountability for all the reporting right now. Like, these big streamers on the left are engaging in basically de facto, like, terrorism propaganda. I know that, like, we can meme about it because it's Palestine, and we can meme about it because it's lefties, and we can meme about it because they're on, like, family-friendly platforms like Twitch, but, like, the Hassan stuff is unhinged. It's probably the most unhinged mainstream alt media stuff I've seen, like, maybe ever, or like it rivals like Tim Pool. Like, he's about that level, not about that level, he's at that level now. No, he's not. I think he's worse, because I think Tim Pool is a lunatic on Twitter, but at least when he's talking on his show, he tries to, like, he's still conspiratorial, but he's like in his own way. But it just feels like Hassan, maybe I'm giving Hassan more credit because he's on my side. It feels like Hassan speaks with so much more credit on some of this. But then, yeah, Jesus. Sorry for the topic switch. Recently found my partner and I can't have natural born kids, so we need to adopt. I'm scared. I won't love the adopted kid the same as my own. Do you know any positive adoption stories? I mean, if you can't... So, this is... Okay, I'll do 3 things. So, firstly, you can't do, like, in vitro fertilization or use, like, a surrogate mother. There are other things you can do if you're not able to have kids that you can look into. Some of them are kind of costly. The second one is, if you've got friends that want to have, like, a kid for you, or somebody else that wants to have a child, I don't know if you've seen the movie Juno, you can kind of do it that way sometimes. Or third, yeah, adoption is a possibility. Most parents, as mean as it sounds, don't want to adopt a child that's more than, like, a couple years old, though, because they don't want, like, a ruined kid, which is really sad, but... Thoughts on calling people like Hassan alt-left? I think alt-left is a cringe term. I don't like it. And it's not really alt-left. He's just a tanky. I think there's already words to describe those people. They're just tanky. Hassan feels like he's a lot more definitive about shit. It's not hard to imagine Tim Pool at least entertaining and listening to the other side. Yeah. Hassan is a featured TwitchCon creator. Twitch will play favorites and won't ban him until... Yeah, he's not going to get banned for any of this. I don't even think he should necessarily be banned. I don't think he should be banned. I just wish there was, like, one, it sucks that I'm not on Twitch, so there's literally no pushback for any of this, because obviously none of the LSF streamers know anything. And then I don't know, are there any other big people that do politics on Twitch that get even like 500 different viewers? Like,
if you've been,
like, this is just the whole narrative set on that site now. It's gonna be, I haven't listened to this yet, but
if you've been looking for a reason to stop pretending that you are a fan of Amy Schumer, here's your reason this week, okay? All right. Amy Schumer, you are allowed to say full-throatedly, sucks. This woman has a career from stealing comics jokes, just like her beloved nation of Israel, which stole Palestinians' land and lives. Okay?
apparently this girl is unhinged.
Amy
Okay.
and Zionism, Zionist Israel, both have in common that they love to steal
Okay.
and then pretend otherwise.
I know you personally don't think he should be banned, but if they ban Fuentes and similar, do you think Hassan is comparably bannable? Oh, I don't think Fuentes should be banned. I think that a platform that would ban somebody like Nick Fuentes, though, would easily ban somebody like Hassan. Absolutely. If Fuentes is supposed to be banned on Twitch, then Hassan should easily be banned. I thought about making like a tweet earlier and like tagging them just to like stir shit up. Obviously, he's never gonna get banned, but just like virtue sig or whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty. If I wasn't medicated right now, I'd be a lot more upset about it. Can you please explain what people mean when they say Gaza is like an open-air prison or a concentration camp? It's hard to know what's true on this. Yeah, I don't know. I should look into this. I should do, once I get home, well, I hope it's still somewhat relevant so we can like research it. Because I've gotten a lot of people arguing against like calling it like an open-air prison or apartheid state or like concentration camp is a little brutal. The conditions aren't good. But also, for instance, like people will say things like, oh, Gaza is a genocide. They're being genocided. They're being genocided. They're being genocided. The population went from like 1 million to 2 million, I think, in like, what, like 20 or 30 years? That's a very unsuccessful genocide. Like, but nothing gets in or out of the Gaza Strip. My understanding is nothing gets in or out without explicit Israeli approval. Like, they've got like checkpoints everywhere. And it is like cameras and everything. You can't leave. And it's blockaded. There's a blockade and an embargo, so you can't ship anything in or out. So, I mean, like, it's calling it, the problem is that like calling it apartheid, calling it prison, calling it a concentration camp, it's a bit reductive on what's a pretty complicated situation. So yeah, I don't know. What did Amy Schumer even tweet here? Her story. An Islamic Jihad missile killed hundreds of innocent 4 minutes ago. Hundreds of innocent Palestinians in a hospital in Gaza. Many Western outlets published a propaganda lie, blaming Israel without fact-checking. Facts only reached the headlines an hour later. Fire the BBC News, New York Times, Sky News, CNN editors. Lies that stoke anti-Jewish hatred. This is probably true. This is probably a measured tweet. This is most likely true at this point, I think. How long ago is this? Ooh, I don't know if it was true 9 or 12 hours ago or whatever. Or 11 hours ago, but...
Shit.
Caroline is an idiot, but I think because it feels like because there were some people like Bernie Sanders and Rashid Tlaib, because there were some people that that gave measured takes on Israel-Palestine. Because there were some people that get measured takes on it, it seems like now they're trying desperately to virtue sing like, whoa, 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 but I'm not okay with the idea of killing everybody. Look, they bombed, they killed a hospital, 500 people dead, right? They're like really desperate to jump in on the other side, which I think is obviously really cringe.
What is this?
I served in the relevant IDF unit. We don't intercept rockets that early above Gaza. It's a small place. Fragments of the enemy rocket and interceptor don't fall from the sky and are dangerous. Terrorists in Gaza have about 1 out of 10 rate of misfire from Gaza to Gaza. I saw it with my own eyes on the radar. The truly ironic thing is supposedly, with your 1K views acting like a political streamer, Hassan owns you. Why is my kick chat so mean to me? Fuck you. Oh shit, I just got a message. I was in the middle of things. Oh, no, I thought I remembered it, but I didn't. Oh, supposedly, the truly ironic part was supposedly this was a rocket that Hamas was firing from like one hospital that went over another hospital and then malfunctioned and hit, like, ooh, not a good day. Am I crazy, or everyone became a pro in Israeli-Palestinian conflict ever since 2 weeks ago? Yeah, but this is how it always goes, right? A new conflict. Like, 2 months ago, everybody was an expert on the difference between, like, submersives versus... Or not submissible. Submersibles versus fucking submarines and shit, right? It's just... That's the way of the world.
It's the way of the future.
Here's the true horror of the misinformation spread by Hamas and their simps. Is that there's U.S. and Israeli embassies around the world are being attacked under the presumption Israel leveled a hospital with the U.S. being okay. Yeah, is that true? That would be really sad if that's true. I love the kicker kid this week. Listen, I've had to deal with a lot of drama going on. Keep in mind, this is the first time I've seen my wife in like fucking 3 months, okay? So fuck you guys that are posting my subreddit like, oh, he's retired, blah. Listen, I'm married. I got relationships in the real world that I have to upkeep and shit, okay? Fuck you. this I don't understand. So is Hassan's stream? I've been watching it. Is Hassan's stream? Does he just uncritically believe every single thing that comes out of Gaza? Like, does he just like? Well, he just like, oh yeah, obviously it's true because.
I don't know.
How much do you believe the human shield stuff? No, of course I don't believe the human shield stuff. What
The
do you
human shield stuff.
What is it? I should have looked for full context of this, but I was so irritated when I saw this clip I didn't even fucking know. I was so like, what does he mean by this? Was there a greater context where he said like in some cases he doesn't believe it, or because like Hamas, their main headquarters, they operate out of hospitals. Hamas does this all the time. This is what they do. I don't even think they deny it. Like,
I've told no, that's ridiculous. There is no, even if I were to believe that they are like purposely fucking putting humans in front of rockets, okay? It's ridiculous to actually shoot through the hostage.
also, that's not what human shield means. I know he knows this though, so there must be more context. Because a human shield does not mean you actually like got a shield of a human. It just means you're doing military operations around humans that would necessitate collateral damage to civilians if you were to be aggressed upon or counterattacked or whatever, right? That's a human shield.
What the fuck are you saying?
Apparently his entire stream title yesterday was IDF bombed hospital, 500 dead. And there's just no evidence. Evolution of a headline. New York Times edition. Israeli strike kills hundreds in hospital, Palestinians say. Okay, this first headline is not actually, surprisingly. This first headline was not as bad as the Reuters one that I saw. I thought I saw one from Reuters that was really bad. At least 500 dead in strike on Gaza hospital, Palestinians say. At least 500 dead in blast at Gaza hospital, Palestinians say. Jesus. Does anybody have the original Reuters
It's the
headline?
fucking melee button.
I was really surprised. Do you think Rashida Tlaib should be censored for her actions? I don't know what she's done recently. I know a lot of people bringing her up, but I haven't seen that.
Hospital was bombed, by the way. This is 20 hours before the fucking hospital was bombed, by the way.
Like, bro, what? It's got the music and everything. I'm laughing, but I shouldn't be. It is truly some of the this is like the lowest that I've ever viewed Twitch. Not that they give a fuck, or not that the platform even cares about itself. But this is like the lowest this platform has sunk when it comes to propaganda reporting in my entire life. Like, this is the equivalent of like looking at some like US like World War II or like Vietnam War propaganda videos. The children cleaning up trash, the children playing Ring Around the Rosie. And then his whole chat is like getting increasingly radicalized, increasingly misinformed, increasingly irate towards Israel. Like, fuck the IDF, I suck it. Like,
Don't look away from this. Most of these children are fucking dead now.
he didn't have any idea. Destiny, don't you push the Israeli narrative without question or evidence. Ignore the kidnapping of Palestinian children, but report on Israeli children. What do you watch any of my stream? If you think that, then knock yourself out, dude.
I saw some of their body parts earlier when I was looking at the on-the-ground footage in the aftermath of the fucking insane strike on the hospital. Yeah, Israel moved from it was Hamas to Islamic Jihad. Now they're saying Islamic Jihad blew it up, actually.
Let's see. Rashida Tlaib. Israel just bombed the Baptist hospital, killing 500 Palestinians. Doctors, children, patients, just like that. We don't even know who died. How could you have no idea? This is one of my favorite things. This is a little bit sociopathic, okay? But if you know somebody's lying, you never reveal that you know. You just let them continue to lie. One of the funniest things that liars do is when somebody's caught lying and you know it, but you keep asking the questions and they start to like invent details about like, and you know the whole, you're like, oh, you were at John's house last night, right? You're like, oh yeah, John. Oh my God, his dog was like so crazy this time, blah, blah, blah. And you know that he like went to Jane's house. And it's like, bro, why are you just, what are you doing right now? What is she saying here? Doctors, children, patients? I mean, it's a hospital. I think that's a safe assumption. Why would you make any assumptions right now? Especially when you don't even know the hospital was bombed. This is what happens when you refuse to facilitate a ceasefire and help de-escalate. Your war and destruction only approach has Biden even? I thought Biden's statements so far have been pretty measured. Hasn't he made a couple statements about how civilian death isn't acceptable on either side? I feel like I've seen him make those statements. Am I wrong? I'd have to go back and check the tweets, I guess, but. And has opened my eyes, and many Palestinian Americans and Muslim Americans like me, we will remember where you stood. That's really weird. Muslim Americans? That is an incredibly fucking bizarre statement to make. Because that's really weird. I would be super uncomfortable seeing that. That is an unhinged statement. I could understand Palestinian Americans, but Muslim Americans? That like plays into the that white nationalist foreign invader
This shit is broke.
really well. Jesus. Did you see the Canadian dude threatening Jews at the university, and then the cop showed up and now he's in shit? Nope, but good for him. Does anybody have, there were two really good threads that I read earlier. Does anybody have those threads about that detail the GeoGuessr, not GeoGuessr, the Geo Tracker Locator stuff?
Oh, I gotta open this motherfucker.
Do you see Biden's going to Israel? Yeah, I think tomorrow, right? Hundreds killed in Israeli strike on Gaza, Palestinian officials say. Israeli airstrike on Gaza hospitals, more than 500 Palestinian officials say. Unbelievable. He's there now? Oh, I thought he was going tomorrow. Maybe I read the statement earlier or something, I don't know. The time zones are fucking me all up. So, keep in mind, okay, so these are just like Twitter threads and people that, now, supposedly this person has a pretty good track record of stuff like this, and they're nonpartisan. But I read that, I don't know that. I would never personally vouch for this, but Geo confirmed Israel-Palestine. A missile launched by Palestinian groups exploded mid-air, and one of the pieces fell on the Al-Ali Arab Hospital's yard. Here's the coordinates. Before reacting, read our thread. Full recording from the Aj Mubashar feed. You can see the rocket. You can see the outgoing rocket fire some distance away. The rocket is intercepted in the air and breaks apart into shrapnel. I don't believe it was intercepted. I think it malfunctioned. But I think he'll get into that on this thread. But we can watch this video just so you see it.
Hey. Easy. Fun.
I can't accept a malfunction happened to land in a hospital, but that's just me. One, it wasn't a hospital, it was the parking lot. And two, Hamas rockets and rockets that come from this region do malfunction quite a bit. They're working like 3 tech levels behind. As like the Israeli missiles and shit.
What's this? Skank that. Oh shit.
And then I think that's the parking lot on fire or whatever. Analysis by Hamas Piker. Oh, does he analyze it? Hold on.
2 explosions are...
Why does he do this? Hasn't this guy been tricked by like Arma 3 footage like multiple times at this point?
Here. Okay, I'm gonna put this side by side. I want you to fucking understand something, okay? So that is a JDAM called on. Here.
Is he even looking at the right video? This was a Jackson Hinkle meme.
2 explosions are seen, one smaller one and one perhaps a rocket launcher and a big one on the hospital.
He was comparing the sound? Why would they exaggerate the death number so heavily if they knew it was themselves? Well, they probably didn't know, or they didn't. They're just trying to pin it on Israel because they know a lot of outlets will pick this up and run with it regardless. Like, Hamas almost always looks like the bad guy here, and I don't think, I'm being a bit presumptuous, and I could be wrong, but I don't think that Hamas is here to play, like, the politics optics game. Like, I don't think Hamas has, like, a political strategy in mind where they're like, oh, let's do, like, a fake attack here, the fake bomb here, we'll misreport this to outlets, and then hopefully enough people, like, they don't think like that. I think they just lie with impunity because they don't give a fuck because they're, like, on some holy war crusade against, like, the oppressive regime of Israel. Like, I think that's where the thoughts start and stop. I don't think these are, like, a politically effective group that are trying to, like, manipulate the media. They just report anything the fuck they want that thinks it'll be bad for Israel, whether it's confirmed or not, whether it'll be confirmed or not, whether they think it'll look bad on them or not. I don't think they give a fuck. Yeah.
This is bad info. Yeah, I don't know where this is coming from. This doesn't look like the same as the thing that we saw earlier.
What are you playing?
And also, there's no
Wayfinder.
sound. I don't know what the fuck's happening there.
White Thunder?
Wayfinder.
Wayfinder.
I was gonna come play ESO, but you're busy.
Oh, no, we can
But
play
the
some
hospital
golf.
explosion was greater,
We can play.
and
Why?
also
Are you done?
Did
I wanna
not
go find that red
did not
guard dude.
follow after
Right.
rocket interceptions.
Right.
If you really
I-
don't want to play, that's fine. I'm not trying to pressure you.
No, I do, but
It's
like,
Emma's lying to me. I wish I
wanna
had your
like
confidence.
do
I can't
something
imagine sitting here
together,
and,
like,
pretending
events
to
or
give you guys, like, good
not events,
analysis.
but like
Bro, I don't know what a
dungeons
missile
or
looks
something.
like. I don't know what a rocket looks like. I don't know what any of this shit looks like. I've never seen any of this in my entire life. I've never seen any. I can't imagine. Like, okay, hold on, let me check this out, guys. Oh, I can definitely tell you the ballistics of that. Oh, for sure. Oh, this is a super normal. Oh, 100%. That's a rocket interception with a JDAM missile coming on the vertical trajectory. Like, and I know Hassan doesn't know this shit. I know Hassan has no fucking idea. So the, Jesus, sorry. Other footage. Independently, they came to the same conclusion. The above footage is showing a rocket fail and breaking up into 2 pieces, one falling on the hospital. Better POV. And then they have a ton of pictures linked here. And they geolocate like a fuck ton of images to confirm like what fell and what was going on. I don't know if they speak about it anymore here. There were a couple ones with like experts on like weaponry talking about, I think how like it could break up, and then there's like propellant and there's like 2 explosions or some bullshit, but I don't know. Some people reacting with, there are no groups with such big missiles/rockets. Example, geolocation of Palestinian Islamic Jihad with Badr 3 rockets. So they do have these rockets, I think, right? Islamic Jihad denied that any of its rockets were involved in the hospital blast, saying it did not have any activity in or around Gaza City at the time. Note, a rocket barrage was launched and the video, but maybe not by Islamic Jihad. Important note, our conclusions are based on our geolocations. This doesn't mean that they are the truth, just what we think is highly likely based on our geolocations and logic/reason. We are geolocators, not official investigators. Do not take this conclusion as proven fact. To be sure what really happened, different official investigations are needed. But also, again, I don't want to say, like, I know what a crater from a missile looks like. But, people are saying that this is the totality of the damage, basically. You can see, like, it's a parking lot that was blown up. And there's, like, the crater for the bomb is, like, here. That's it. Now, maybe missiles don't leave big craters here. But, like, this was the damage. It was this parking lot. It wasn't a hospital. It wasn't an entire hospital. The hospital actually suffered no structural damage whatsoever. It was just this parking lot. Now, were there 500 children and doctors and patients' bodies piled up here sleeping outside peacefully? Maybe, but don't know that, but There was a wedding happening in that parking lot. Wait, that has to be a troll message. Never mind. I don't know that. Destiny, there's a thread I saw where there were like 350 people killed in Iraq or Afghanistan by us, and holy moly, there was insanely more damage. Yes, there was a thread that had 3 pictures of different other types of like car bombs and shit, and I think missiles that had gone off, and you can see what the damage looks like when hundreds of people are killed. It's extensive. For what it's worth, this doesn't look or sound quite like an airstrike using the typical IAF 1,000-pound or 2,000-pound JDAM Mark 80 series to me. Incoming projectile sounds like it's under power, and the explosion frames visible look like largely propellant fire rather than HE detonation. Is that high yield explosive detonation? What is HE? It's in this thread. Oh, hold on. Oh, high explosive, sorry. Now that day is broken and we're getting better evidence, I'm willing to share some preliminary thoughts on the Al-Ali hospital explosion. The photos of the scene are, to me, not consistent with an airstrike and are not consistent with claims that 500 plus people were killed. So this was the damage, this parking lot. You can see where the cars were kind of torched. I guess this is infrared? Looks like this. Oh no.
It is a...
What's up, buddy?
Well, so yeah, if you actually look at the explosion in the parking lot, it's hard for me to believe that 500 people are killed, unless, for whatever reason, there's like a large gathering in the parking lot. Like, they would have had to have all been right there next to the explosion.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what most people are saying. Like, 500 people in that small of an area with no survivors is highly unlikely. It seems like almost impossible that that could be the case.
Yeah, so I think this is being misreported to begin with, and if you're talking about a 2,000-pound explosive, there would be a crater.
Yeah,
there's no crater.
People are showing measurements of what craters typically look like too, and yeah, this one is not as large as we would expect.
Yeah, and I mean, there's the video footage from Al Jazeera as well, which I think conclusively proves this is clearly a Palestinian rocket that caused this explosion. Like, all the pieces that we have right now fit together with that.
Yeah, that seems to be the case, yeah.
Yeah, and what's fucking crazy is every single instance, even when the evidence doesn't support it, people are just putting the blame on Israel, or they're giving Palestinians, well, not even Palestinians, they're giving Hamas the benefit of the doubt. And I came to a realization yesterday. It's because they're browner. Like, the only reason lefties are giving Hamas so much sympathy and Palestinians so much more sympathy is because they're darker skinned.
That might be true
no
for some other parts of the world, but I think for the left in the United States that's the loudest online, I think it's just generally because they stand in opposition to U.S. foreign policy. I don't think the skin color matters as much here.
I don't know, man. Like, when you look at the rhetoric, you know, people will talk about how, Israel has created the situation where, you know, they've oppressed the Palestinian people, especially in Gaza, which I wouldn't say that's untrue. And I wouldn't say it's an untrue statement to say that Israel's contributed to further radicalization of groups like Hamas, shit like that. So they'll make this argument that, well, when you look at the, you know, the links in the causal chain, Israel is to blame for this sort of attack. Now, they won't use that same kind of logic when it comes to actions that Israel takes against Hamas. They won't say, okay, well, Hamas did this attack, and now they're kind of paying for the repercussions, because how would you expect, you know, people to react to that sort of situation? So like in every when you're talking about every single fucking instance, like even when it's unrelated to U.S. foreign policy, where Palestinians are given all of the sympathy, all of the benefit of the doubt, and there's just this constant cope for not only Palestinians but even Hamas, just a horrific terrorist group. Like, I've seen videos on LiveLeak of what Hamas does. They've made promotional videos where they just blow people's brains out with shotguns. The only explanation is, like, from lefties, they're browner. Like, they just give more sympathy to people who are darker skinned.
Sure. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I think it has more to do with like just being anti like U.S. interventionalism. But I mean, maybe the brown thing has a little bit to play into it. But okay. All right, I'm gonna go back to reading these.
Well,
That's okay.
Yeah, no problem. Take care, dude.
Okay. Bye. The photos of the scene are, to me, not consistent with an airstrike and are not consistent with claims that 500 plus people were killed. Oh wait, this isn't the thread I was looking for. Somebody linked this. I thought this was the one that showed all the other pictures of the other places that had been bombed.
The Great Lift.
This one, hold on. Oh, this was the picture that I remember seeing. Yeah, it was this. In July of 2016, a truck bomb in Baghdad killed 350 people. This was the truck bomb in Baghdad. I shouldn't laugh, I'm sorry. This is horrific. But you can see the difference in explosive power. A truck bomb in Mogadishu killed 500 plus in October of 2017. That was this truck bomb here. You can see the multiple destroyed buildings, right? In October of 2022, a truck bomb in Mogadishu killed 125. This is the damage that it did here. This is the damage from the bomb that was dropped by whoever dropped it here. This is parking lot, I think. The vast majority of the damage is from fire. Only 3 cars show any clear sign of kinetic and structural damage, and for 2 of them, the general structure remains intact despite clear damage. But, yeah. I also want to say, this image is a leak from GTA 6, yeah. I also want to say something. This is so important for you guys to understand this. It's so important, okay? It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter at all what the fact of the matter is when it comes to early news reporting. Whether or not Hassan was wrong or right doesn't matter, because a lot of you might feel vindicated because you're like, oh, Hassan was wrong, good, fuck him. Even if Hassan was correct, he was still reporting on this way too fucking early. Even if he was correct, you should feel just as disgusted about his reporting as you do now that he's incorrect, most likely, right? Just as a heads up, always remember that, yeah. Do, 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 do.